Here's the Sharpie logo that you had done before. It has the Sanford graphic, the industrial part, registration marks that you'll place in there. And taking a look, you'll just type out the Sanford using the correct font and then giving it a stroke to give it a little darker thickness. Because the font doesn't have a bold section, you can simulate it just by using the stroke thickness. Registration is option R, and this little booklet is just doing a rectangle, skewing it, and then flipping it across as a copy. The industrial type, just have a serif instead of a sans serif font for industrial, which is the university type, and a rounded rectangle for the outside edge. And the Sharpie you already have from before, so just open that file up, copy and paste it in there, change the coloring, registration marks for option R, and you'll end up with this graphic that we'll use in a couple future drawings here. This is the isometric shape that has the star and the two stripes on the side. You start with a rectangular shape, and you can put two together so that they're on either side. And the star shape you can place in there and just kind of stretch with the direct selection tool to fit the rectangle. And the stripe, just putting three stripes there to place it, and try to get the right angle of rotation, and then duplicating it to the side to help you plot the other side of it. And then Made in USA you're trying to place in there with one text box, and the tricky part is trying to lay it down into that angle, so you have to do like a envelope on top of it to stretch it out to make it fit inside of here. So the tricky part is just trying to match it up, and then using the direct selection on the points to change the handles so that they go into the same just one piece, so it makes it a rectangular shape. So that part gets a little tricky, and when you're finished you'll have this two segments of these logos. It looks easy at first, but then it gets a little difficult. Okay, so this part kind of stretched over here, making one text box and then using the text scaling. So when you're inside of this part, or this one for example, you can see this is just broken apart, so it'll rotate without the text being in a path. So that's what this one is. So when you double click on this, this has the font that you can still manipulate and changing it into the path so that it can be stretched across. And do one last one here for you. It gets a little confusing, but this is the section. So when you take a look at the pieces that are there, this is giving you the text as one piece, and when you take a look in here you can see it's Helvetica light, has a little bit of leading. Down below on the part for the USA has a little bit of a vertical scale to it. Okay, and then once this part is taken in order to rotate it and transfer it and try to stretch it to fit, not everything works out, so you have to do a couple things, and one easy way to do it is to go to envelope distort and just make with mesh, and instead of having a lot of rows or columns, which it'll show you, you just want to have it do 1 to 1. So now that these are easily movable, you just have to stretch them out to fit. So when you take one of them, you're kind of plotting this selection, and it's all distorted. But with the direct selection tool, once these are highlighted, you just have to adjust the handles to fit the edges. So the front two pieces, you have a little help as far as placing that angle. And it's just a little bit. The other way, it's just a tricky method, but that's placing there. So you still say I have a curve here, so I just have to adjust this point and straighten these lines up so that these handles, is what they're called, match right up on the straight line. Same with this one here, so just kind of a fine-tuning it to get that top piece.